Fantasy managers, hello and welcome to the FPL Addicts Game Week 7 preview show for the Fantasy Premier League 2021 and 2022 season, powered by Esports Live and sponsored by Bonus Bank. Game Week 6 is now over and there's no time to rest for FPL managers such as myself and today's panel. So today we've got the usual suspects. It's looking quite, boring and derelict at the minute with only three others other than me. Not calling you boring, Jack, don't worry, not calling you boring. But we've got Ollie Walker-Peel, my right-hand man. We've got Jack from Esports Live, and we've got Statman Dave as well. We're ready for Game Week 7 here. Ollie, how are you doing, mate?
Yeah, we almost had that same song from last year, didn't we, Jack? I don't know if you could flash back to that, but Elliot, your eyes went then. That was a bit interesting.
45.
Hey, yeah, there was some. That would have been interesting, but no, I'm really good, mate. Obviously, got it's a smaller panel than usual, but a very, very good panel nonetheless, and a good panel that all had better game weeks than me. So I can't wait to get ribbed about it, which is going to be fun as always.
I can't wait to rib you about it as well, mate. And, the human fence, Chris Reed, will be on in about 10 minutes, we reckon. And the Guru should be joining at any moment now as well. So it should be good. But we'll get right into it. The show must go on no matter if they're here or they're not. So I'll bring up the results from game week 6. What a game week it was. Statman, we'll start with you, mate. Was there any results that stood out to you?
That's a very good question. I would have to review that. Do you want to ask Jack first and I'll get back to you?
Jack?
Let's just get the nonsense out of the way first. The early kickoff. United have been blessed again with it this week against Everton, but I'm hoping it could be turned around. Obviously, we started with Aston Villa. Listen, going on last week, I was confident going into this. We've got a good record against Villa. We've been scoring plenty of goals, plentiful. We were obviously down to concede, but I never envisaged a 1-0 loss. Not good. Didn't really want to talk to anybody about it. Didn't want to talk to my missus. Didn't want to even talk anything. It was absolute nonsense and obviously not great for my FPL assets in there with Shaw. He had an absolute mare. He looked terrible in the first half an hour. Then he limped off injured. Obviously he's okay. He's going to be all right now, isn't he? But he was getting ruined by Matty Cash. He made him look like Cafu. And then obviously with Ronaldo pretty non-existent in the game, and then I don't even want to talk about that penalty at the end. It was absolutely horrific. But hopefully this week's going to turn around against Everton. I do believe we'll bounce back and get the result. But it's a shocker from me. But hopefully, terrible. And obviously the result against Chelsea, a bit of a shock one against Man City. I thought Chelsea were going to do the business. So to the 9:30s were a bit of a surprise and not good for any team for the red side of Manchester, but good for the blue, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was a shame. The penalty miss and everything really did mess up a lot of managers' teams. And
should he be apologising for that? Just in football content, he should be apologising for a penalty miss. Surely.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to apologise for a penalty miss. It's football. That happens. But if I'm Cristiano Ronaldo now, I'm not going to let Bruno Fernandes step near that 12 yards again.
That was my next one. Is he going near him after his record? He's got 21 and 22. I think he's got, and then all of a sudden he's now done.
It's a weird one, isn't it? Because it's like he's a subject of his own success, isn't it? You miss one penalty and you think, oh, he's rubbish now. But he's been so consistent with his penalties for so many years, Fernandes, that it's difficult. But Ronaldo, probably the best goal scorer we've ever seen in football. If I'm him, and I wish I was, by the way, I wouldn't be letting Bruno near them. You'd like to think that most players that could step up could put a penalty away, but if I'm Ronaldo, I wouldn't be letting Bruno take them. But he consolidated him afterwards, didn't he? He was sort of giving him a hug, making sure he was all right. So it's going to be an interesting one, isn't it, Jack? But what do you think now as a Man United fan? Do you want Ronaldo taking him or do you want Bruno on him?
I think it probably will go to Ronaldo now, but knowing Bruno and the way he is, he'll want to take the next one. He won't want to give it up. He wants to get back on it and give everything. He obviously loves the club. He's settled in really well. His goal scoring record's obviously phenomenal. The only way to get back on the horses obviously get back on the penalties and redeem himself. However, I don't know if that's going to be the way. I think Ronaldo will probably take the next one. But you see, he's still back. He's still back, Bruno. What a record he's got. But I think that does change things in FPL. That might be the last straw for a lot of people with Fernandes if he's not on the penalties. If he'd scored that, I think he's still obviously got the. You still keep him in, but I think that might be the last the last time, you might put him in because of those penalties.
Yeah, and Ollie, your reaction on the watch along to Bruno's penalty miss was absolutely priceless, mate. You cannot get any better than that. But was there a result other than those 2 early kickoffs that Jack's alluded to that really stood out to you this week?
Well, we've seen Dave's one in the private chat. I was going to leave that one free anyway, so Dave, you can take that one, no stress. I'm going to take the North London derby. Unbelievable game of football. I stayed up and watched it because FIFA was out a few hours before. I thought, oh yeah, I'll just watch a bit of football. And Arsenal were unbelievable. We've given them so much stick on the early game weeks this podcast. They were brilliant. The Hale End lads, Saka, Smith Rowe were brilliant. Tomiyasu was immense. And Tottenham couldn't go with him. Tottenham were deplorable, really. And, I really wish that the Guru was here to listen to the comments. But, Harry Kane was frustrating. He should have won. He's out my team already this week. I'm done in with Harry Kane. So, great result for Arsenal. They look like they're stabilising now. 3 wins on the spin. So, in the league. So, interesting to see if they can kick on from there. But yeah, that was a result that definitely surprised me. I definitely expected Spurs to go to the Emirates and, get a result of some sort. But no, they were absolutely woeful, and full credit to Arsenal.
Yeah, and Ollie, there's been a lot of, abuse held Arsenal's way. They've got points on the board now, after, those opening sort of fixtures, the Brentford one, you can probably just call whatever you want. Coming up against Chelsea and Man City, you'd probably expect them to lose both of those. So do you think they've sort of, revived their season a little bit?
Well, I mean, it is still quite early to call. We weren't saying that when we were, having a laugh predicting them to go down, but it's mental how they've lost the first 3 games of the season. They're in the bottom 3, and Tottenham won the first 3 games of the season, and we're top of the league. And now Arsenal are currently above Tottenham in the league on goal difference. It's mental how quick football can change. So yeah, again, they are a team that have had to settle. I think that they will kick on now, especially having played Chelsea and City already. So there definitely is scope, and obviously Tottenham. So there is obviously scope for them to kick on now, and I think they will under Arteta. He's a decent coach, so I reckon they'll get a few results on the board now.
Arteta and decent coach isn't something that comes around too often.
So a couple of things on that one. One, the word unbelievable for Arsenal. 2, Arteta's decent. I think that was my 2 things.
He's a decent. He's a decent coach. Whether he's a decent manager is another question.
Yeah, it's different.
He's definitely a decent coach. Which is why I use the word coach and not manager, because there's there is a clear distinguishable element with it, because you don't work under Pep at Man City and not be a decent coach. But it's just a question of whether he's a decent manager, which is had question marks over his head, and they're probably fair enough. But we'll have to see if he can become not only a decent coach but a decent manager as well.
Do you think just on that, is it time for Arsenal assets? Are you getting them in, Ollie?
In defence, I don't mind it. Or maybe Odegaard going forward. I don't mind the look of him. He's quite cheap and could be a decent asset. I really like the look of Tomiyasu. I thought he was brilliant in defence, not only potentially with the clean sheets, but also going forward as well. So maybe Tomiyasu.
Tom White.
Yeah, ex-Rovers player. Tomiyasu, Ben White, potentially the ones I'm possibly looking at. But I wouldn't be going near the likes of Aubameyang or Lacazette. I think it's either Odegaard, Tomiyasu, or Ben White. But I think, there is scope for Arsenal assets now that they're on a good run. So
you're counting on Arsenal to revive your form?
I didn't say counting on. They could be on my watch list. Maybe that's what I might need. I might need something, out there like that. They're obviously going to be differentials, aren't they? Because not many people are going to have them in. So it might be my avenue. Who knows?
We'll just have to wait and find out, mate. Tomiyasu's looked brilliant since he signed for Arsenal, and he was obviously, supposedly going to sign for Spurs as well. But we could talk about them for hours and hours. We should have waited for the Guru so we could start, talking up Arsenal and everything. But he will be on just later. I saw your comment, Dan. He will be on at some point. We're sure of it. Statman, Ollie's already spoiled which game you've chosen this week, but which one have you gone with?
Yeah, so I think Brentford Liverpool was probably the surprise result. Brentford are surprising a few teams and are performing quite well this season, being one of the promoted teams. And 3-3, a bit of a goal fest. And I finally bought Salah in this week, and he scored. And somehow he's nowhere even near the bonus points, which was a bit of a surprise. But he did score his 100th goal. A fair bit happening in that game. So quite an interesting one for the week.
it's about time you got Salah in your team, stat man. I do have to say it's about time. He's been on absolute fire this season, and yeah, as you said, his 100th goal for them, absolutely brilliant player. And as you said, bonus points, he was nowhere near them. It was disappointing. I was talking to the guru about it. It's been a little bit of a weird one. A lot of people were saved by the Antonio bonus points and that sort of stuff. So it's an interesting one, the bonus point system, but it's what we've got to work with. And yeah, Salah had a brilliant week nonetheless. But they're the 3 fixtures. We'll move on into the paid mini league now, and there's been a lot of movement up towards the top end of the league. Nathan Burgess is now ranked top of the league after his brilliant performance in game week 6. He is our manager of the week with his team champions of Europe. Or at least champion of the FPL Addicts League at the minute. I'm not too sure about Europe, but we're branching out worldwide, so you can pretty much call yourself champion of the world if you end up winning this league, mate. But he obviously gets the 20 Aussie dollar prize with his 64-point haul for this week. And yeah, we look forward to having you on the podcast very, very soon. Jack, what a week that is! Top of the league, manager of the week. Does it get better than that?
He's had some week. He's Budgie on our Discord. He's going to come on next week, actually, on the podcast, so we can definitely ask him a bit more about how he's managed to get up there. And he showed some good form. I think he had his game week 1 and 2, but he looked really good. Then he played his wild card, which is now boosting him even further. And obviously, it's paid off for him in terms of getting to the top of the league. So game week 6, top of the paid mini. We know that's worth 1,000 Aussie dollars if you win that this year. So exciting times for him. Plus the $20 that he's already won. So he could be he's looking in good form at the minute, is Nathan?
Yeah, he absolutely is. And, if we just look down there at second, we've got Don Out. And then in third, Geordie Wilson has dropped. So it might be the beginning of the podcast curse. But the podcast curse is absolutely rubbish. Ollie, I want to ask you about this one. Pizza Boy sits there in fourth. Ollie, what a week from him. He's had a brilliant month. He's manager of the month. He gets the $200 Aussie prize. So that's absolutely brilliant from him. And as I said, the podcast curse has got to be over now, surely.
You'd hope so. If we're being honest,
me and Ollie are still struggling with that.
Maybe so. Yeah, it's one of those. The amount of information he gives off to everyone, and he is one of the most active members in our Discord. You'd expect him to be decent at the game, and here he is, decent at the game. It's great to see. He's a top lad, and it's good to see him up the top of the league. I'm sure he's absolutely buzzing. He's always smiling, and he's got a massive smile on his face, knowing that he's manager of the month. So absolutely buzzing for him, and yeah, props to him for doing so well.
Yeah, and he said it was the best thing that he could have woken up to, when he woke up yesterday morning and saw it on our socials. So absolutely brilliant performance from Pizza Boy this month. And yeah, couldn't be happier for him. As Ollie said, he's a brilliant lad, always happy, always smiling, always willing to help other people is the main one for me. Even if it means that he's not going to get manager of the month every single month, he's always happy to, let out the stats and everything to give people advice as well. So absolutely brilliant job, Pizza Boy. Really, really happy for you. But that's how the paid league's looking. And it's getting really, really competitive up the top. It gets even more competitive every single week. But there's been a lot of movement in the free league as well. Umar Dharma sits first and Billy in second, and Joseph Alvarez has dropped there, as you can see, down to third place. As I said, the free league, obviously the paid league, the one to be in. You heard there, Pizza Boy, $200 this month for his FPL performance, and obviously the $20 manager of the month as well. So got to make sure people are getting in that. As Reedy joins us there, bottom of the screen, I can hear myself echoing Reedy, but how are you doing, mate?
Yeah, Sal, what is popping? Good to be back on the pod. Been looking forward to this. Kind of forgot about it with all the Champions League mayhem that's been going on from last night. Some absolute razzler goals, to be honest with you. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to getting back into game week 7. It's where it's at, and plenty of things to discuss, obviously. So yeah, good. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. And they come around quick, these games week. It felt like it last year. It somehow still feels like it this year. You feel like you never, ever get respite from it. But that's how the free league is shaping up. The women's league, again, said it last week. There's so many people in this league that need to be in the paid league because they're performing out of their skin. Maya remains on top, and Karen Spence has dropped to second. As I've said, there's just so many high hauls in this league that it would be great to see as many as we could, join in that paid league next season when it comes to it, because, they're going to be the ones that are going to be winning all the money, Jack, isn't it?
That's it, mate. I'm just looking at third place in there on 71 points. Click on Pratisha, is it?
I think that's how you pronounce triple captain.
Triple captain. Oh, wow. Triple captain shout.
Oh, should have had it on the Vice. Should have had it on Vardy.
Oh, tell you what, that would have been nice on Vardy, hey. But yeah, very brave to play the triple captain there. 21, probably not paid off as well as what you'd like for a triple captain shout, but congratulations on there. You know, Cancelo in there as well, Vardy, Antonio, some nice picks. Yeah, not bad, but yeah, like I said, some top competition in there. I know Carmina's, who's very active on all our platforms. She's in there at 7th place. Maja at 1st place, as you mentioned, up and down. I think first 3 or 4 game weeks she was top. Dropped down to Karen, not Karen of Brighton, but yeah, up and down in there. So yeah, looking really good.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really, really competitive league. And as we said, a lot of these people need to be getting in the paid league because they'll be winning so much money in these leagues. So the Guru has finally joined us. He's on the pod for today. Guru, don't know if you just saw, but someone's played their triple captain this week. They put it on Salah. Was quite outstanding to see. But how are you doing, mate?
Yeah, great. Thanks, Elliot. And look, was the triple captain in FPL or was that UCL?
FPL, mate.
Okay. I was unlucky. Salah should have had a hat-trick against Brentford. He had the one off the line early on. There was that one towards the end where he tried to chip the keeper, and if he'd passed that in, he would have killed the game off and ended up with a double. So, yeah, he's quite unlucky with that triple captain, but yeah, he's played it nice and early there.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's good to have you on, Guru. A lot of people, again, were asking how you were and where you were. Someone even made a Harry Kane comment that I won't bring back up again. But
I've just seen that. I like how he's anonymous.
He's found the comments and he's already, realised all the abuse that he gets in it. So keep it coming along at the Guru for being late. But we'll move on to the head-to-head bonus bank league now. And probably my shock of the week, is that the average has been defeated. It was, unbeaten so far this season, the average, but they did manage to lose this week. The average has dropped down to 7th. So, Ollie, that's shocking from the average, isn't it? Shocking performance.
Wasn't that a Chris Reed masterclass? Didn't we say
Reedy.
that Chris Reed had the average? Mate, what a performance!
Got the win. Come on.
From look at him. He's the Scouse Guardiola, this man, with a big win over the average. The undefeated average up to that point. Clash the Titans, and big man Reedy's got the job done. Absolutely quality to see one of the podcast lads beat the average. It's an annoying one, the average, isn't it? So nice to see that it's been humbled.
Yeah, Reedy, you must be delighted with that. Coming away with 3 points on the weekend against average. Brilliant performance, mate.
Oh yeah, did I need that? But yeah, as you say, boys, the average has been absolutely flying this season. Just picking people off as it does, and this week the average it's been really, really low for a game week. Really, you look at some of the scores people have been getting. Even for the beginning of the season, we see it in past seasons. The score can be quite low, but it's not been the case. So it was nice to get that win and kind of break the curse, if you like. There's a few of those curses been broken. I feel like now's the time where these podcast curses or the average curses, they're all going away now, boys. So I think everyone's probably going to get 100 points this week. I'm just going to put it out there.
Not too sure about that one.
Chip in, mate.
All right, getting a bit carried away there. Yeah, sorry.
Might be a bit too extravagant for that one, but yeah, I love the confidence from you, Reedy. And as we said, beating the average isn't always the most easy thing in the world. So well done to you there. And as you can see, the league is really shaping up. So many people on 15 points, and then it just sort of drops down to 12. So I'm sure we'll see, how the league's going to shape up. But at the minute, as with all of our leagues, it's looking really, really competitive. However, the podcast mini between us 6 isn't looking too competitive. The Guru's running away with it at the minute. He's 20 points clear at the top, and he's 117 points clear of Statman Dave as it stands. So Statman, we'll go through your team first, mate. How did your game week go?
Look, I beat the average for the first time in a few weeks, so I suppose that's a win. But yeah, I'm flying in UCL at the moment, but struggling in all things FPL. But yeah, not a clean sheet to be seen, which is a bit disappointing for me. But did get some small returns from Gray, Antonio, and Salah as my captain. So, I'm happy just to be above the average and to at least break that part of my curse anyway. And, I think if you guys noticed in the head-to-head before, I think I'm 0-7, and I happened to draw the guy who had the highest score of the week. So, yeah, I was a bit unlucky there, but then maybe the curse is just transferring to the head-to-head league now.
Yeah, it's like the draft league last year. Statman, you had so many points, but when you came up head to head, you just always seem to lose on that week. But you've stuck with Antonio Statman through thick and thin this season, and he's really paid off for you this week. Were you delighted to see him get a goal?
yeah, it probably, showed that it was the right call, I suppose. I kind of knew that as soon as he was coming back, he was just going to continue on his merry way. And, probably a lot of people might have wasted a bit of a transfer on taking him out and then having to bring him back in. So especially with Bamford being out injured, it was a good replacement, I suppose, for him for the week.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was the one to go with. If you were going to lose Bamford and you weren't going to go for the premiums like Lukaku or something like that, I think he was definitely the one to go with. I was fairly content with my week, 57 points for me, so well above the average. Nothing again from Sanchez and Brighton. We wait every single week just seeing if he's going to be on the fraud squad. And then the rest of my defence, other than Marçal, really there wasn't much doing from there. But absolutely delighted with Salah, Gray, Rafinha, and Jota. My midfield did absolute bits for me this week. Salah is captain. He's the best player in the game at the minute. He's the best player in the league at the minute. There's no one stopping him at the minute. He did it this morning in the Champions League as well. Reedy could probably listen to me talk up Salah all day, but he's been absolutely brilliant this season. Continuing his form, such a good FPL asset. As we said before about the bonus points, not quite sure how he didn't get near many. As the Guru said before, he should have had so many more goals as well. So he was absolutely brilliant. Rafinha's just playing through everything at the minute as well. Injuries, they don't matter to him. He's scoring bulk, and Jota finally got his goal. It's been a long time coming for him. He's been in my team for a couple of weeks now, so I was delighted to see him haul. And then the man of the week for me, Raul Jimenez, with a goal back on the score sheet. Definitely should have had two. Don't quite know how he missed that second one towards the end of the game for Wolves, but he was good for them again. And why wouldn't he play himself into form when he knows he's got Newcastle this week? That's the perfect week to come and get a hat-trick for himself, and he definitely is going to. That's just how it works, and that's why I brought him into my team, because he's got a good set of fixtures. I back him as a striker. It was delightful to see him get another goal again. Back in form for him, so it was absolutely brilliant. So yeah, 57 points for me this week. I was very happy with that, sort of stabling the ship almost for me, and I can sort of kick on from here, I hope. But Jack, 47 points for you this week, above the average. Were you happy with that?
Just about. I mean, it could have been so much better. I just want to give some shout outs to Alice St. Maximin. He obviously he could have got a couple of goals on there. He got me 8 points. Obviously, got the 3 points bonus, which was great. He was all over the place. I brought him in this week for Richarlison, so I took the option. I was weighing up who to bring in, but the budget seemed right, the fixture seemed right, everything lined up. So ASM, a razzler as we know, could have got a couple of goals. There was some infuriating moments. Infuriating moments in there. El, you must have been pulling your hair out. So yeah, but he got 8 points. He could have easily been double that, couldn't it? To be fair, with the goals he could have got. Jota, Salah, obviously got on the score sheet, got me the points there. Son, kept faith with him. I was going to take a hit and take him out, but once he got declared fit, stuck with him. It's the only Spurs allegiance I'll have at this moment. So I think, with him getting the goal as well, 3 of my midfielders hit, which was lovely. Greenwood, best player on the pitch for United as well against Aston Villa. Could have got a goal, could have got a couple really in those 28, 30, 34 shots that we had. Not that any of them were on target, but good options. And then Ronaldo, captain fail. Obviously, like a lot of FPL. I'm not too sure on the stat how many people captained him, but I'm pretty sure he was going to be pretty high. But yeah, and going into this week, obviously, Chris Wood is going to bag a hat-trick, and lads, this is the week.
This is the week.
Norwich. This is it. He bagged 2 against them in 2019-2020 season. This is the moment. As FPL call him the kings of the game week. If he's not on that starting lineup, I'm going to be Listen, I'll get Ollie Walker-Peel a shirt, Wood on the back. That's a hat trick.
Don't you dare!
Great incentive. Come on, Wood. Come on, Chris.
Don't you
Papa
dare!
Peely would wear it.
He would.
I'll get it in. I'll get it in for sure, 100%.
And I know we're joking, but this really is his week, Jack. I think this week, he's probably gonna bully that Norwich defence, isn't he?
Right. If he bags a hat trick, he can stay when I wildcard. How about that? He can stay in the team if he bags a hat trick. I think that's a good. He's fighting for his place in the team, Elliot. This is the one against Norwich. Obviously, they've got the poorest defence in the league. This is it. It's now or never, Chris Wood. I hope he can hear me, and I hope he's listening.
Well, if you are out there, Woodsy, and you are an avid fan of the podcast, hello.
Woodsy.
Listen to what Jack's telling you. You need to score a hat-trick this week against Norwich. You need to score a hat-trick, otherwise he's out of your team. Guru, what do you make of that? If he scores a hat-trick, he's staying in Jack's team through his wild card.
I think it's a fair call, and I don't want to say too much about Chris Wood just yet because, there's going to be a bit on him a bit later on. But I think if Wood gets a hat trick, he's got to stay in your team. Burnley have got some great fixtures coming up, and Chris Wood's shown down the years he's a great FPL player. So I actually do like that shout.
Yeah, and he's working on his stepovers at home, about to step into Daniel's Razzlers of the week, as he says. But, we're all just waiting now for the games on the weekend, Jack, to see if Chris Wood can do it.
Yeah, that's it. And listen, he would have been even better form if obviously he got that goal counted. It was a tough offside that he was given there. Obviously, I was bouncing around the room when that went in. I thought, just need Ronaldo to score now. Got all my strikers hauling, got my midfield hauling. So if Chris Wood didn't get that one disallowed, he could have gone into this one full of confidence and could have been on for 5 goals, couldn't he?
Yeah, I think, when you play in Norwich, you probably should be fairly full of confidence. So we're all backing you this week, Chris Wood. Ollie can't wait for you to score a hat-trick. Jack can't wait for you to score a hat-trick. So we'll just have to see how that one goes. And I'm actually really excited to see how Burnley go this week, which isn't something that many people often say about Burnley. So we'll just have to see how that one goes. Reedy, 56 points from you this week. That's an absolutely brilliant score. You've still got your wild card in your pocket and all that sort of stuff. So were you happy this week?
I was quite content. Luke Shaw, we won't even go there and talk about that one because we all know he's a fraud this season, FPL fraud. But I can be quite happy with the likes of, Salah hitting, brought him in, so I was happy with that one. And, other than that, really, you had your assist from Gray, Damari Gray. Reguilon got on board, didn't he? Decided to give Son an assist against Arsenal. And then you had that man, Jamie Vardy. It was just the right fixture, the right time to bring him in. And he was full of it, wasn't he? Scored an OG early on. One of those thinking, it's not going to go my way. And next thing you know, he's bagged a couple. So, I was quite happy. Beat the average, obviously. So that was good. So fairly pleased. And yet again, Bruno Fernandes just failing to deliver. Rosette, as Ollie said, it's still probably heading into space, that shot now. But, pretty content with that. Fairly happy. I'm just trying to stay with the pack at the moment. So it's a decent score for me.
Yeah, and you're not staying with the pack, really. You're definitely drawing ahead of it with that score this week. Jamie Vardy's the main one for me. Not too many people that I know have gone with him this season, and he's quietly going about his business, doing it for Leicester, doing it for FPL managers. He's a huge one to have in your team, isn't he?
Yeah. You look at that fixture that they had against who they play now. I nearly forgot there. Against Burnley, obviously, and the fixtures that are up and coming for them. They've got Palace next. You've got United, who on the back of how they've played against Villa and their results in Europe. You fancy Jamie Vardy to maybe bag in the next few game weeks against all the teams he's facing. They've even got Brentford after United, so he's a great asset to have in your team. Everyone's going to be jumping on the Lukaku bandwagon, which I can fully appreciate and I can understand why with Chelsea's great fixtures, but Jamie Vardy is someone to definitely take seriously in FPL at the moment.
And fingers crossed he's having a party for you again this weekend, because he did get a hat-trick this weekend. One of them was in the wrong goal, but he's an absolutely brilliant asset at the minute. He's done it for years. The bonus point system loves him, so it's a really, really nice score from you this week, Reedy. 56 points, reiterate it again, absolutely brilliant score. So we'll move into second of the podcast mini. Ollie, 39 points this week. I'm not going to say anything. Take it away.
Do I have to?
Quick analysis.
Yeah, look, right. I would just want to say, I just want to call into question one of your comments from before. You say the Guru is pulling away with it. I had a 20-point lead over him 2 game weeks ago, and he's got
I won the league 4 game weeks in, mate. That's what you got. You got that trophy again.
No, not my point. This league can change quickly, and I've had a couple of mares, and I'll be on my way back after this week. Look, let's cut the crap. I've had a shocking couple of weeks, and I'm fuming. Right, Ronaldo captaincy did absolutely nouts, which was class. Harry Kane, he was, my dishcloth could have done a better job than him up top for Tottenham. He was woeful. Should have captained Salah, who actually did something. Alexander-Arnold, again, we're not sure what's going to happen with his injury. Damari Gray was decent. Look, it's just so many blanks. Just so many blanks. It's so frustrating. I'm kind of hoping that my team can get hacked this week. Obviously, with the whole hacked saga that's going on, somebody just transform my team and make it decent. But no, on a serious note, please don't hack me, and hopefully this week I can turn it round. I've been saying on a couple of FPL channels that I've got a plan. I'm going to stick to it, and it's going to get me up the mini leagues. So hopefully I can start this week.
Sounding like Mikel, our trust the process Arteta at the minute, Ollie. I've got to be honest, he said he was a decent manager before. We'll just have to see how it goes. But I think on a serious note, as Ollie mentioned with the hacking situation in FPL at the minute, if you can, I would advise you to change your password, because there's been a couple of cases of people getting their accounts hacked, getting like minus 100 hits or whatever. We know that Jack did that last season willingly for his FPL team in game week 2.
Happened. That's what happened last year, lads. Second week in, didn't know what was going on, got hacked.
Must be it. But yeah, if you can change your password, just that extra safety, because if you're in any of our leagues or in any leagues worldwide, you don't want that ruining your FPL year, because a minus 100, it's difficult to come back from that. So yeah, but Ollie, I want to get back to lampooning you this week, mate. So what's your plan from here then? You're saying trust the process. He's got a plan. What is it?
Well, my plan is to hold on to Trent Alexander-Arnold, which is going to surprise a few people. Obviously, he's probably not going to play this week, but with the international break coming up, I think that once we get back from that, he'll recover. A lot of people will sell him, and I think he might be one that might even be a sneaky little differential once we come back. My main plan is to sell Harry Kane. He's been woeful for me, and get rid of Reece James, who I brought in for 1 week. So, he's injured, so I'm going to take a hit. I don't know who I'm going to go to. I don't know who I can afford. I'm a bit razzled in a bad way. So look, it's just to trust the process. Go from Kane to Lukaku. That was always my plan, even when I wildcarded. I wanted to go Kane to Lukaku. I'll probably captain Lukaku this week. Home against Southampton. Bring him in, captain him. He'll, hopefully get a decent, double figure haul, maybe like a 10 or a 12, maybe. So yeah, just stick with it, stay with it, and hopefully I can get back to the top of our mini league and beyond.
Sounds like a good plan, mate. I'm liking it. Get the Reece James out for I don't know who at the minute, but it sounds like a plan. You're really selling it to me at the minute, and I'm really confident with you.
Yeah, I'd like it to be Cancelo or Diaz, but I don't know with that recent rise if Cancelo's now out of my price bracket. So I might just have to sidestep to Antonio Rudiger, because I think I can get to him. All his teams need a good hack, to be fair. Yeah, okay, have your fun, all right? I'm here. Open slather on Outcasts. I'm an FPL Outcast. Slather me. Rip into me. Look, here we go. Dance into me, mate. You're saying that Chris Wood's a good asset, mate. Behave. But look, my team's woeful. I need a bit of luck this week, and I'm going to go and get it.
I actually, getting rid of Harry Kane is, on a serious note, mate, I actually think it's, maybe not the brightest decision. Villa and Newcastle.
I was just about to say this. Villa and Newcastle. Is this a good idea? Do you not think he can bounce back against these two teams?
Look, I know he probably will bounce back, but I've got faith in Lukaku that he's going to do something for me. And my plan always was to get rid of him. Like I say, he was, again, woeful at the weekend. We know what he's capable of. Most goals and most assists last season. I just think Lukaku's run is too good to ignore, and I don't want to get rid of Ronaldo, and there's no other way of getting Lukaku in. So it's not a case of, it's a case of bringing Lukaku in. And I think you've got to have him in because of the amount of fixtures that Chelsea have got. I don't have a Chelsea player in my team at the moment. I mean, I've got Reece James on bench. So if you want to go down to Reece James and have a look at Chelsea's fixtures, just to prove my point, their fixtures in the next, however long, are mental. Southampton, Brentford, Norwich, Newcastle, Burnley, Leicester, United, Watford, West Ham, Leeds. You can hold him for all of them. So I can't wait to bring him in. Reedy said he's going to get injured tonight. If he does, then I might just quit the game.
We'll just have to see how that one goes. Yeah, we'll just have to see how that one goes. In 2 weeks' time, we'll come back to it, see how Lukaku's gone, see how Kane's gone. We'll get a little graphic for you, Ollie. And, when Harry Kane bags his annual brace / hat-trick against Newcastle, I'm sure you'll be left with egg on your face. But, a lot of people going with Lukaku this week, myself included. So I definitely cannot, have a go at you for that one. But the Guru, as I said, he's wheeling away with it. Ollie can talk all this nonsense about how good the league is all he wants. Ollie peaked too early. The Guru's on the slow rise. He's come up 61 points this week, bounced back from his wild card last week. He had a good week last week. It's a brilliant week this week. Guru, how did you go?
Yeah, look, great week. I'm not going to say too much to Ollie because, look, it's still early days. It is a marathon, not a sprint. And, last season, I was in a similar position where I had that slump, the 28-point week. So I won't say too much yet, but look, managed to overturn his 2-point lead, which is nice. Good week. All the midfielders hitting, which is good. The Wolves players paying off. So, can't complain. It was just, really good to see Raul Jimenez score. And, that Wolves triple up just work after, they were so miserable against Brentford the week before. So, good week. Captain hit. Just a couple of changes that need to be made. Obviously, we spoke about them on my team selection, but it might be a bit of a change now with this Alexander-Arnold injury. So I think I might need to change up my my strategy there.
Yeah, to find out all that, the Guru's changes this week, make sure you're following his socials, FPL_addicts, and you can see what he has ended up doing. And, we'll have to wait tentatively to see what happens because, we know these Champions League games, they cause injuries and all that sort of stuff. So we'll just have to see how that one goes. But Guru, as I said, a really, really good week from you there. Top of the league, a lot of Wolves assets going into this week. So you're probably going to have another brilliant week this week. But we'll move on into the transfers that we're going to be making this week, boys. Jack, we'll start with you. Is there going to be a lot of outcomings for you this week and a lot of incomings?
No, I said last week I was wildcarding this week, but I'm holding. So I'm gonna stay as I am. The only one I was looking at was in my team with Jota. So Jota, like Rafinha, I want to bring him in if he's on a yellow. Like one of the boys, I think someone just said he's playing for yellow all season, but still plays. If that's the case, I'll probably still put him in then. So put Rafinha in for Jota, and that'll be my my move, I think. I reckon Greenwood is due one more pop before these fixtures that we're going to go through. So I was thinking of keeping him in. Shaw's going to be fit. Ollie said last night he might even play tonight in the Champions League. So Shaw will be fit and he'll be back banging because everyone loves him. I'm sure everyone's turfing him out now, so I'm going to take this differential. But obviously that's not going to happen, is it? But yeah, Jota's the man.
I think he is, mate. As I said, he finally got his goal this week, which was absolutely huge. Statman Dave, transfers for you this week?
I suppose it's going to maybe depend on what's going on with Bamford. Have you guys heard anything about his injury status? I just tried to do a Google and couldn't see much. But if he's going to be out for a little bit, then it'll probably be trying to replace him. And then, as far as captaincy, probably looking at Antonio or Lukaku, one of the two. We'll see if Lukaku gets through his Champions League bout, I suppose.
Yeah, well, Guru, has Bamford been out and about in Leeds, out for dinner or anything on his socials that you've seen?
I actually think he might be out this weekend, Bamford. So, and his price has gone down as well today, which is a big disappointment. So, not seeing him out to dinner or out on the town, Dave. So you might want to get rid of him.
Yeah, and Reedy, we know last week you gave us the insight with Trent. So, have you heard anything about Bamford now? Any packages delivered to your mates now or anything like that?
Oh, not on the Banff train, no, mate. He's probably sitting there quietly, waiting for his next appearance. Rafinha seems to be the man who's injured, but obviously still playing. Nothing my side, mate. Unfortunately, at the moment, I'll keep me ears ready though.
Absolutely. So, Ollie, any transfers for you this week, mate?
Yeah, it's my first hit of the season this week. I'm really scrambling. Reece James is going.
He's panicking, boys. He never takes hits. He is panicking.
I'm very calm. I'm going Reece James to someone. I don't know who. I'm going to assess my options.
Who does he play for? Someone. Who does he play for? Is he a new signing?
It's I'm actually going to go to none, mate. He's been getting a lot of goals and he's getting a lot of assists recently. So no, it's probably going to be Cancelo or Diaz or Rudiger, one of those three. But the one I'm sure that I'm going to make is I've already made is Kane to Lukaku, which has copped a lot of questions over this podcast. But I'm going to captain Lukaku this week, confident of maybe a brace, if not a hat trick. I'm not sure if he's a Brayton Diaz who can just get hat tricks every single week, but we'll have to sort of see if he can be the one to maybe bag a 2 or 3 for me this week. Southampton look a bit shaky, so they're my 2 transfers. First hit of the season, frustrating. I never like taking hits, but sometimes you just got to do it.
Yeah, and Reedy, any incomings for you this week? We know you haven't played your wild card yet. As you said, you're trying to just stay with the pack. So is there going to be anything for you?
Well, boys, if you know me from last season, you'll know that I am the hitman. So basically, this week's got me turned on it. Wild cards out the window. It's not happening. International break with injuries and COVID and whatnot. And I've took an 8-point hit. Yeah, that's right. I've took an 8-point hit. 8-point hit. Yeah, yes. So, it's pretty heavy. Pretty heavy, that, isn't it? Pretty heavy. But listen, it'll be worthwhile.
Instant regret.
It's just the trigger happy part of the season, Jack. We know he had the transfer last season. It's really hitting like the trigger happy sort of part of the season.
I told you about this guy. Chris Reed loves transfers. The guy is a transfer machine.
Right.
He brings in more players than a League 2 team.
Ipswich made something like 27 signings in the summer. I think Chris Reed's going to double that. How am I getting slandered here?
-8.
What's he doing?
It's like Football Manager, boys. Hey, it's like Football Manager, you know.
Incompetent football manager. Incompetent football manager. That's what you are, mate. Bloody hell. Listen, all. Hey,
where am I in terms of the league compared to you?
Mate,
You just relegated yourself.
You're below me. You're below me.
I'm only about 12 points behind you.
Still less than me. What are you doing?
You're 20 now because of your -8. Just to let you know.
16. Because I'm taking the 4 as well. Al. I'm taking the 4 as well. So 16.
Listen,
interesting.
I'll be above Ollie. You worry about yourself, Al and Chris Wood, mate. Don't worry about that. But the transfers have made, or who have brought in, I should say. Antonio's back in. I've brought him back in for Danny Ings. That's probably going to turn around and bite me because it did with Jesus. Although I did bring Vardy in, so it was worth the transfer. Captained him, but I've brought Antonio in. Fixture against Brentford. Fernandes has stayed in. I don't know why I've kept him in, but I have. And then I've made the 2 Chelsea transfers. So I've put in Rudiger and Alonso, which, knowing my luck, touch wood, it doesn't happen, but they might get injured tonight. So we'll see what happens.
There's me 3 decent fixtures in there as well. So I'm a bit surprised you've taken Ings out.
Nah, I think Spurs might bounce back and have a bit of a solid defence. I don't know about Villa. You know, Villa at the minute, they beat United 1-0. Wasn't really, didn't hammer them, as you said, Jack. United had majority of the shots in the game. So I fancy Antonio over Ings at the minute. Ings has not really been doing it for me this season. You know, like I say, it usually happens. I'll take someone out and they hit. But I'm going for it this week. Rather than using a wild card, I'd rather take an 8-point hit. So, you know,
you basically bought a wild card with a -8.
No.
He's sticking firm. He's fairly happy with it. There's some good transfers this week as well, Reedy. So I definitely, can get on board with it. Fingers crossed, it does pay off for you. We'll go through captains ever so quickly. Obviously, if you want to find out about the Guru's transfers and his captains, you've obviously got to go watch his YouTube team selection and keep up to date with his socials just to see if there's going to be any changes towards the deadline. But Jack, who's it going to be for you this week? Is it Chris Wood?
Sorry, for captain.
Captain pick, is it going to be Chris Wood?
Captain, I'm going Sonny, mate. Chris Wood, I'll could be tempted for a differential, but I think Son's going to be the one because he's going to bag a hat-trick as well.
Yeah, I think it's a fair point. I think a lot of people will be going with Son this week. He's got a brilliant record against him. So, yeah, you'd expect more of the same from him. Statman, how about you?
As I said before, probably either Lukaku or Antonio. Probably depends on how Lukaku goes for Champions League. But yeah, probably one of the two. Not sure yet.
Yeah, it's going to be the same for me. Lukaku into my team straight with the captain's armband on him, I think. Ollie, is it going to be much the same for you, or are you going to be captain somebody?
I'm going to be captain Romelu, mate. Straight into my team, straight with the armband. Got a lot of trust in him.
Yeah, I think that's probably the safe choice for this week. And Reedy, who's it going to be for you?
I'm torn between Antonio and Vardy this week. Both got decent fixtures, so I expect them to both get on the score sheet. So I haven't decided on that one yet. I'm on the fence.
Sitting on the fence, really? Oh yeah, Fence FC's back again.
I'm on the fence on that one on this occasion, but you can understand why with those. Which one who am I going to go for? Do we stick with Vardy, who's the goal machine at the moment, or Antonio, who's just been doing it from game week 1? We'll see.
Yeah, we'll just have to see how that one goes. But there are captain picks and our transfers for game week 7. Just a quick word from our sponsor, Bonus Bank. Just a reminder that members of our community have been using our sponsor, Bonus Bank's platform for free to review bookie promotions and bonuses on the Premier League for the past couple of game weeks. The platform is free to join, but if you do want to unlock special features and go premium, make sure you use code FPL Addicts to receive a 25% discount off your first month's membership with no lock-in contracts. You can see the link in our caption details and you'll learn how to make instant profit. So we'll move on now to the guest section, and a very, very special guest section today. We've got Seb. If you've watched our watch-alongs, he's the Dermot Gallagher of the watch-alongs. He's a referee. He's an absolute legend. It's good to have you on today, Seb. How are you doing, mate? You're muted, mate. Is it just me, or can you not hear him?
You can't hear him, Seb. I'll tell you what, maybe if Seb, you jump on your laptop, maybe, mate, and then we can maybe get you back on in a second. Why don't we go to the Guru section?
Guru section? Perfect. See you in a minute. While we sort that out, we'll get onto the Guru section, the information part of the podcast, brought to you by yours truly, Matt Day, the FPL Addicts Guru. Guru, get into it, mate.
Thanks, Elliot. And look, we'll start with the watch list this week. And the first one on there, 0.1% ownership. It's going to be Podence from Wolves against Newcastle. For those that tune into the Scout 11, you'll realise he's in that too. I think he's a great pick this week. Second in line is going to be Fornals from West Ham. He's 3.1% owned against Brentford. Midfielder, really good option. He's about 6 million. I think he's a great shout. And then my last one on this week's watch list, again, these are differentials below 10%. He's 1.5% owned. He's been the main topic on this podcast. It's Chris Wood, the Kiwi himself against Norwich. Has to be in there as one of my main differentials this week.
Yeah, Chris Wood, we've said it a lot. He's going to be on absolute flames this week. Ollie knows it. Jack knows it. I know it. You know it. Dave knows it. Chris knows it. So expecting a big, big haul from him. But I really do like the Fornals pick. He's always a player that comes out with the odd goal for West Ham. And, you know, he gets a lot of assists for them as well. So I think that's a really, really nice pick. You've got your captains as well for this week, Guru. So who have you gone with for them?
So this week, one of Ollie's choices is on there, Lukaku. More than likely going to be my captain this week as well. So I think he's the best captain for me this weekend with that Saints game. Second one, Cristiano Ronaldo against Everton. Expecting him to bounce back this week. I think Everton is a good fixture for him, back in front of the Old Trafford faithful again. And then third captain choice this week is going to be Vardy. Really good record against Palace. Second most point scoring striker this season is Vardy. And then my next captain is going to be Antonio.
Interesting ones there. You know, the Lukaku one's fairly obvious, but I really do like the Vardy pick. He's on absolute fire at the minute. You've got a curveball this week, Guru. I've just seen who it is. I can't blame you for going with him. Let us know who it is.
It's got to be Jimenez. It's got to be Jimenez at home to Newcastle. You know, he's coming off the back of that brilliant goal against Saints. So yeah, Raul Jimenez, I think just as a bit of a curveball. You know, he's going to be in people's teams. He's going to transfer in, but not many are going to captain him. So I think just for something different, this is the week to captain Jimenez.
Yeah, and, you know, it's a fair one. He's got a good record against the Toon. Scored last time out at home against us. It was a brilliant volley on the edge of the box. I really do like that pick. You've got your 3 big FPL fixtures of the week, Guru. There's a lot of them this week. I was looking at the fixtures before. Which games have you gone with?
Yeah, it's tough this week. I think first one's going to be Chelsea, Southampton, just because the number of Chelsea players people are owning now. So you've got Lukaku, Alonso, Rudiger, Christensen. So Chelsea Saints, then Man United Everton, I think is a big one. Got the likes of Ronaldo, Bruno, Gray, Townsend. And then the last one, it's got to be Liverpool City. You know, Liverpool, Man City, Salah, Trent potentially might play. You've still got people that own Jota, Grealish, you know, Diaz, Cancelo. So I think that's a massive game for FPL.
Yeah, it absolutely is going to be. And your 3 teams to back for the week then, Guru, who are they?
It's got to be Chelsea against Southampton. It's a tough one, this week. There's a lot of tough games. I'm going to back West Ham against Brentford. do like the look of Brentford, but I'm going to back West Ham, even though they've got Europa League football this week. And then my last one, I'll back Wolves against Newcastle this week.
Yeah, well, that ends the Guru section there with that last pick that you've gone with, Guru. But as we always say, some brilliant picks from you there. A lot of brilliant insight, good differentials. The main captain picks, I think, they're spot on for this week. So, yeah, thank you very much, Guru. So we'll try it again this time. We've got a very special guest on today. He's our Dermot Gallagher on the watch-alongs. We've got Seb. How are you doing, mate? You're muted again, Seb.
Working now?
Working now, mate. We got there.
Finally. Not too bad, guys. Thank you.
That's good to hear. Good that we can finally hear you now, Seb. And obviously we did have you on last season as well, but you're currently sitting 1.9 million in the world on 359 points in total. A tough team for you last week. I'm really sorry. I do have to bring it up on the screen. I won't show the points, but I can just show the point scorers there. But, tell us about your performance so far, Seb. Game week 1 to 6. How are you going this year compared to last year?
Well, I think in terms of first 6 games, I think first couple weeks it was basically like everyone else, owned Bruno and Salah, so went like a house on fire. Then it kind of went down a bit. Week 5 was great because I got Sa in for his 15 pointer then, so I think I scored about 20 points above the average then. This week I got 2 points below the average, but that was kind of planned because, with United going stupid in the first game, it screwed me over with my 3 assets, as you can see. So, yeah. And sorry, I think I'm going a little bit better compared to last season. I'm not entirely sure. I am taking it a bit more seriously. So,
that's good to hear, mate. We did have you on last season. I can't recall how well you were going, but I think you put it spot on there. United going stupidly, but they do have a fairly favourable fixture this week. Is that going to be one of your favourites for this week, or do you have a favourite FPL fixture for the upcoming game week?
100%. United at home, and Ronaldo has to be captain. No question about it.
I think so. It's a very interesting one. We were going Lukaku before, but there wasn't too many people mentioning Ronaldo.
Sorry, I think I'm just trying to get my team back up now. I got rid of Ronaldo for Lukaku, so Lukaku's my captain.
Then that's a fair choice as well, Seb.
There's no loyalty anymore, is there, Seb?
No.
Nice one, Seb. It's the Guru here. And it's fantastic to have you back on. I've been loving all your contributions on Discord as well, mate. We obviously have a lot of chat about FPL and Ajax. But what I want to know is, when are you unleashing the wild card, and what teams and players are you going to be looking at to build your wild card up with?
So, just after the game week started, last one, I actually activated it already. And I made a massive overhaul thing. I made like 6 or 7 moves. And then, as you can see now, I brought in people like Trent, Lukaku, Rafinha, people like that. Also Odegaard and Ramsdale. Eyeing those next nice couple of fixtures for them.
Nice, mate. That's a class wild card, by the way. You obviously got Rafinha in there, scored a couple of goals lately. Antonio's on fire, Sarr. So, yeah, you would have jumped up the leagues with that.
And I've still got 2 million left to spend, I think. So I should probably upgrade Dennis for maybe Saint Maximin or something like that.
Love that. Can you name a couple of differentials then, or maybe enablers for this week for our listeners to look at?
In terms of price, definitely enablers would be Arsenal players because they're so lowly priced. I also saw that Brentford players are really lowly owned still, apart from the keeper, especially the back line is like under 5. So
I agree. Yeah, there's some cheap ones in there. There's Ben White, I think Gabriel's quite cheap as well. So yeah, I think you're onto something there, Seb.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Seb, do you have any sort of advice or tips for our listeners in our community, going into game week 7?
I think going forward in general, if you guys want to keep abreast of the price rises and price falls every day and every week, head on to a fancy Football Scout. They've got a price section there, and they're pretty accurate in predicting the price rises and falls. And because of that, I've actually managed, to already gain 0.4 or something with my wildcard changes.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've got a comment there, Seb, from Wingel, who says, it's a really good wild card looking for this week, Seb. So, the community's liking it already.
Fingers crossed.
Guru, have you got another question?
I do have one last question for you, Seb. So you've just joined the FPL Addicts paid mini, which is brilliant news. So welcome. So what attracted you to join our membership, and what do you enjoy about the FPL Addicts community? Because obviously you're across everything we're doing currently. You're in the Discord, you're watching the pods, you're on the YouTube. So what made you join us?
True. First of all, I actually wasn't in the paid mini for FPL, but I think it's just a lot more fun. It's not that much in terms of the cost, and then it's pretty. The rewards that you can get if you score pretty well are nice, and I love them. I love the community because it's just really evolving, especially in lockdown. So.
That's the big one, isn't it? Especially in lockdown for all us Melburnians, which will be ending for us soon. But we'll just have to see how that one goes. But Ollie, we've got the very special FPL game that we still don't really have a name for. But you are the host of the show, so I'll let you explain it to the viewers out there. What is it?
It should just be called this or that. You're going to be given 2 options. You're just going to pick one. Too easy.
Let me know when you're ready
That's,
to go.
by the way, worst name for a game ever. But it's this or that.
Still, that's what everyone else calls it, but we've not got to. Let's just run with it. You've got 8. You've got 8 to pick from. 30 seconds. This is going to be a speed run.
Time starts now.
Lukaku or Ronaldo?
Lukaku.
Firmino or Vardy?
Vardy.
Salah or Benrahma?
Salah.
Salah or Benrahma?
Salah.
Trent or Cancelo?
Oh, Cancelo.
Bamford or Antonio?
Antonio.
Haaland or Lewandowski?
Leva.
Ronaldo or Messi?
Oh, Ronaldo.
Mike Dean or Martin Atkinson?
Mike Dean is such a colourful character, so it has to be him.
And finally, I don't know why Jack wants me to ask this, but me or Elliot?
You don't have to pick that one. You don't have to pick that one.
Good man. Good
Jack
man. I like that
personally.
answer. I like that answer. Thanks for playing, mate.
Well, Seb, thank you very much for joining us today. It was lovely to have you on again, second time guest of the podcast. So fingers crossed game week 7 goes well for you, mate. Thank you for joining us. And that does wrap up the podcast for today, the Chris Wood podcast. We're going to brand it today. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed and leave a like on the video as well. Head over to the YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, FPL Addicts on all platforms, and make sure you're following, and let us know what you make of Ollie's, somebody transfer today and the Chris Wood selection from Jack for this week. Is he going to hit? Is he going to not? Let us know down. Let us know in the comments. May all your FPL dreams come true for game week 6. Take care. Stay safe. Bye for now.